America, we got to get back to doing what's expected of us as free citizens in this democracy. That means being tolerant, being respectful, staying informed, and being engaged. I'm former Congressman Joe Walsh. Follow me here and join the millions of Americans who are renewing their social contract with each other. The social contract, it's on us. Hey, I lead with an apology this Friday. I'm on the road again. I'm in the state of Wisconsin, campaigning my butt off all day in the state of Wisconsin for Kamala Harris, but I apologize because I'm on the road and I'm sitting right now in the airport in Minneapolis. Maybe the picture's not that great, and maybe the sound isn't that great, and I can tell you the content probably really won't be that great for this daily Joe Walsh Social Contract podcast, and I apologize for that. I have been in a battleground state damn near every day for the past couple months, and now we're down to the wire. There are 5 days left, and just to give you an idea of what I'm doing, I was in the state of North Carolina all day yesterday, campaigning up and down that state, meeting with voters, meeting with local media in North Carolina all day. And then I hopped on a plane, flew back home, got home late, went to bed late, probably went to bed about 12:31, got up at 3 because I had to hightail it to a super early morning flight to get here to Wisconsin so that I can campaign all day in Wisconsin today. I probably look like shit. I know I feel like shit. I'm tired. But I want to apologize because my focus right now is on this race. My focus is on getting people out to vote. My focus is on making sure she wins because I believe he's utterly unfit. So I apologize if I've become a Johnny One Note of late. And I apologize if there have been too many podcast shows where I've been on the road instead of in the studio. I do apologize, but in a way I don't. In a way I don't feel bad about it because, look, the election is only 5 days away, and this is a really big effing deal. Who's going to win this thing? This is a really big deal. So I want to start out the podcast today, the show today, with just imploring everybody to vote. No matter what side you're on, vote. It is the single greatest power as an American citizen you have. You are free, thank God, not to exercise it if you don't want to. That's freedom. But man, it is the greatest power you have. It truly is. Because it's the one power that no politician can interfere with. No politician can stop you from voting. No wealthy dude like Elon Musk can stop you from voting. Nobody in the world can stop you from exercising that power. I implore you to use it. As I've been traveling these states the last couple of weeks, I have been surprised by the number of people who've told me they may sit this one out. I mean it. I'm speaking to people across the board. I'm speaking to Republicans and independents primarily, but I'm also speaking with MAGA and I'm also speaking with Democrats. I can tell you, I'm surprised by the number of Republicans and independents who are thinking about sitting this one out. I'm not talking about Trump's most devoted supporters. They're going to vote. I'm talking about Republicans who might have voted for Nikki Haley in the primary. I'm talking about Republicans and independents who don't like Donald Trump at all, but they're still not comfortable voting for Kamala Harris. And they're just sick of everything about this race to begin with. And I worry that turnout on Tuesday may not be through the roof like a lot of people thought. Look, you're free not to vote, and if you don't live in a battleground state, maybe your vote doesn't matter. Maybe your vote for president doesn't matter, but your vote for other offices may matter. But man, if you live in a battleground state, get out there and vote, because your vote does matter. Your vote in Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin and Nevada and Arizona and North Carolina and Georgia matters. It's the greatest power you have. You are free not to use it. I believe in our bones, in my bones. I believe in my bones that our democracy is shaking in its bones. Our democracy is teetering right now. And it would be a shame if so many Americans didn't vote right now when their vote right now was needed. So we got 5 days, you got 5 days. In your state, find out when early voting ends, find out how late you can get that mail-in ballot in, and then there's election day. But do get out and vote. We're in a lot of trouble in this country, not just politically and not just because of our politicians. We are so dangerously divided. A story last night on Halloween really caught my eye. And I missed Halloween night last night. I was campaigning in North Carolina. I love Halloween. But this story ripped me, gutted me, because it's emblematic of how ugly we are right now. It's emblematic of how grotesquely and dangerously divided we are. I won't give you the name of the town, but a small town in Pennsylvania held a Halloween parade. And in that small town Pennsylvania Halloween parade, there was a woman dressed as Kamala Harris, chained to a golf cart. And the golf cart was dragging her around. You heard me right. A Halloween parade somewhere in America, there was a chained figure of Kamala Harris being dragged around by an automobile. The Democratic nominee for president at a Halloween parade in chains. Where are the adults? This was a Halloween parade, a parade on Halloween. There were children everywhere. Children everywhere at this parade saw a figure of the Democratic nominee for president in chains being dragged and pulled around by a golf cart. To mean what? To symbolize what? In front of children? In front of children? Now, I don't care how much you, as an adult, don't like Kamala Harris. Do you want your kids to see this? Just ugly. Just what would go through? I'm sure not just one person came up with this. It was a pretty elaborate work. You had to go to all the effort of dressing up as Kamala Harris, putting the chains around that figure, tying the chains to a golf cart. I mean, there must have been a committee of adults who worked on this thing. What in God's name were they thinking? Did they even think about how that might impact the children watching that parade? Look at where we've gotten to. I mean, walk the road with me. You're a Trump supporter. You think Kamala Harris is wrong. Okay, that's one thing. You're a Trump supporter. You disagree with Kamala Harris. Fine. That's one thing. Then you're a Trump supporter, and not only do you disagree with Kamala Harris, you question Kamala Harris's motives for why she believes the things she believes. Well, that's another thing. And that's a more dangerous thing. And then you go beyond that, and you're a Trump supporter, and you literally hate Kamala Harris. You hate. Well, then it's just a short hop, skip, and a jump to Kamala Harris is evil. Or as we heard at Madison Square Garden the other day, Trump supporters called her the Antichrist. So I guess if you, as an adult in this small town in Pennsylvania, got to the point where you believe Kamala Harris is evil, she's the Antichrist, then it would be very easy, I guess, to put that in a parade, to put Kamala Harris in chains in a Halloween parade. I guess that would be very easy if you hate her and you consider her to be evil. This is where way too many of us are. And I don't know, right? Kamala Harris in chains? I hate, she's evil. Well, then it's really easy. It's another hop, skip, and a jump to commit an act of violence. And that is clearly what was portrayed at this Halloween parade in this small town in Pennsylvania. That was a parade entry all about political violence. That was an act of political violence against Kamala Harris in a gosh darn Halloween parade. Now, I want to believe, I'm going to believe, that eventually adults realized this was a mistake. This is bad and this is wrong. I'm going to believe that. I'm going to dig more into the story and find out what the repercussions might have been, find out what the consequences might have been. I want to know who did it because I'd like to know if they feel bad for what they did. But I just wanted to put that in front of you this day after Halloween, 5 days from an election, that this is where we are in way too many places in this country. And I'm picking on this small town of Pennsylvania that had Kamala Harris in chains in their Halloween parade. But this kind of hatred and this kind of my political opponents are evil is going on everywhere, is not in too many places. And I've been very honest and very frank. We have two candidates running for president. Only one of those candidates, Donald Trump, calls the other side evil, the enemy within, horrible people. Kamala Harris doesn't speak that way at all. In fact, she speaks the exact opposite. We got to stop the hate. We got to do something about this hate. I know Donald Trump isn't capable of doing anything about it. I know Kamala Harris would like to do something about it. But ultimately, gang, This has got to come from us. We have to do something about it. We have to decide that we want to get off of this road of disagreeing, to questioning, to hating, to their evil, to I want to commit an act of violence against them. We have to decide that we want to get off of this road, no matter who you vote for on Tuesday. And I'm also going to believe that everybody listening to me right now is aghast and pretty opposed to and angry about what happened in this small town, Pennsylvania, last night. I'm going to believe that all of you listening to me right now, you do not approve of putting Kamala Harris in chains. I'll end with that hope. So vote. Get everybody you know out to vote. Fight like the Dickens at the ballot box. And then say a prayer for this country. Because this country is not ready for the day after the election. Say a prayer for this country. Because one of these two candidates will never, ever, ever, ever accept what happens on Tuesday, next Tuesday. Pray for this country. Because there will again be chaos and unrest and violence. Because one of these two candidates, Donald Trump, wants there to be chaos and unrest and violence. I can't change him. I can't change him. I can only appeal to his supporters. All of us as Americans, as American citizens, let's accept the result, all of us, of this free and fair election. Let's all of us pledge to each other that we'll accept who won and who lost. It will be a free and fair election. We have the freest and the fairest elections in the world. We have the safest and the most secure elections in the world. And it's up to all of us Americans to accept the will of the people, who the people choose every 2 years and every 4 years. And it's up to every candidate to do the same. Well, damn him, because one candidate won't. But that's him. As an American, you must. We must. If we want to keep this representative democracy going. Have a great weekend. Vote. Get everybody out. You know, get them all out, vote. Thanks for listening. Be brave.
Remember to listen, share, and follow The Social Contract with Joe Walsh on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere great podcasts are found. And be sure to leave a 5-star review. This has been The Social Contract with Joe Walsh.